Listen only mode.
All right, hey everybody, this is Mike Long, and I am really glad to be here for webinar number 19. This is the money getting and conversion webinar. We could do a little bit on SEO, but we'll mostly be focused this event on money getting, on being able to get that money. So that's what we'll be focused on. Let me know if you can see my screen. I'm going to pull up Skype here, make sure everybody has the webinar ID. Pull up Facebook and look at the OMG team, make sure that everybody knows what's going on. Looks like we're all right here. Okay. So let me know, let me know if you can see my screen. Hey, Alan, how's it going, man? And what we'll do is we'll start in just a minute. I've got like 2 o'clock. I've got just a little bit after the hour. Alan, you can see my screen. Carl can see my screen. That's great. I'm looking forward to what we've got to share with you this event. I've got a brief presentation for the beginning of things, and then we will start focusing on great. Then we will start focusing on your questions, individual case studies, stuff like that. If you want to send me something private, then send it to me by email or Facebook. You can email me at OMG. Let me put this down here for you in the chat box. Oh, I'll put it in the Skype box. You can email me at omg@omgmachines.com. I've got my other MacBook Pro open, so I can look at your questions as they come in, and I can look at your Facebook. So, anyways, if you have private questions, I'll try to answer them privately. Of course, if you have questions that you're comfortable with me sharing with the group, then that's going to be great. And what I'll do now is I'll begin with the Lord's Prayer, and then we will get going. Of course, as you guys all know, I pray for your success. If you're not a Christian, that's okay. I wasn't a Christian when my wrestling coach used to do this for me. I really liked it. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Okay, so let's rock and roll. Obviously, I'd love to wait until everybody files in to give you a bit of a presentation and to kind of tell you what is going on. But what I'm going to do is just go ahead and begin. And of course, we'll have the recording. So if somebody comes on later, if they miss all or parting it, oh yeah, that's wonderful, Brian. I feel the same way. Absolutely. Let me just quickly, Ron, I saw you have a question there uh, up in Skype. If that's a private question, oh, is Ronell in? Actually, I don't think Ronell's in. I bet he's just missing the webinar ID here. There you go, Ronell. Yeah, I told Ronell I would make sure to get him this webinar ID. So let me just send it over to his Facebook. He's probably just waiting on us there. Yeah, there is a group chat. How does Ronell get in on the group chat? I actually don't even know how to join the group chat. Weirdly enough, because it's already set up for me in advance. Do I just add him? Oops. If anybody knows how to do that, maybe I just add somebody here. Yeah, there we go. Yep, got it. Okay, great. Great. Let me just make a quick note. It's 2:10. Okay, great. Hey there, Noel. So there we go. And great. And Al, you know this is Mike Long, not Greg, right? Okay, great. Just wanted to make sure. All right. So let us start by talking about money getting. Let's start by talking about money getting. So what I want to talk about today, I want to really briefly give you an introduction about sparking marketing campaigns and really being successful. That I know we're going to have some specific questions coming in from people, but I want to talk about doing that. I was actually doing conversion stuff right leading up to this event. I was actually just working on a campaign that we're putting together for Area 51 Lifestyle, and so this stuff is really fresh in my head. I'm really clear and really aware of it, and I want to talk about not just putting a campaign together, but I also want to talk about email marketing as well. So when I'm starting a campaign, and this really goes all the way back to my very first job. How many people have read the Commission Conspiracy part one ebook that me and David Mills wrote up? David talks a little bit about his early experiences with Cinnabon, and then as things progressed in business for us, I talk about my early experiences at Fuddruckers, and then as things progressed for me. Alan says he's read it. Who else has read that? Really put a lot of focus into it. Carl read part of it. He got bored. He was like, Susan read most of it. She was mostly not bored. I'm just fooling around with you, Carl and Susan. Of course, I know that everybody's time is very valuable and so on. And I'll just keep spamming the GoToWebinar link in case some people missed it. Hey, Brett, how's it going, man? Great to see you here. Just make sure that everyone's got the link here. So I wrote up about that. I wrote up that that part about Fuddruckers. It was weirdly important to me when I was working at Fuddruckers. And I'll just, you may have heard me talk about it, but I think it's kind of valuable for me to talk about it a little bit on this event, to take 5 or 10 minutes to talk about that and what that has to do with sparking campaigns. Because what it was when I walked into Fuddruckers, I was like, man, this place is cool, but I don't really know what's going on. I mean, I really feel like it's cool. I feel like there's something going on here. I feel like it's special, but I really don't get it. Maybe somehow people walk in and they're already a member of the Fuddruckers Club, and they really get what's going on. By the way, Fuddruckers is a kind of a high-end hamburger business where they have like a lot of flair and a lot of fun with things. And it's, to somebody who's just walking in, you don't even really necessarily know where to order and how to order, exactly how it works. It doesn't necessarily make a whole heck of a lot of sense, like as you walk in the front door. And I found that kind of fascinating because I felt like it was exciting. I felt like they had something cool going on, but I myself was disoriented and confused by it. And I kind of made that my niche. Like when I went to work there, I came back. It's funny because I applied at my mom's library to work there, and they rejected me. They wanted nothing to do with me. So I was a little offended. I was like, man, I've been shelving books since I was a little kid. You won't let me in the library. You guys are a bunch of jerks. And let's see. Oh, Ronald's asking me how to. Let's see. I added you. Did you not get it? I wonder if I can maybe add him again. Do I need to add him again? Maybe. Never know how these things go. Add people. No, I've added him. So, anyways, so I got to Fuddruckers, and I went to work there, and my manager, who is this really weird guy named Jim Quattrocci, I'll never forget this guy, a real character, strange guy, but he sort of had a flair for things, and he said, first day I was there, he's like, what do we do here? And I looked around. I'll never forget, like, craning my neck around, and like, maybe it was like written on a placard on the wall, like, we do this or we do that. But I really didn't know. I didn't know what they did. I didn't really intuitively immediately understand, like, okay, this is what Fuddruckers is about. And so eventually he kind of let me off the hook, and he said, well, we sell $5 hamburgers. And I was like, wow, $5 hamburgers. That's really something. That's a lot of money for a hamburger. And he said, yeah, it is. And that's what we do. Like, this is all geared around like all the excitement here and everything going on. And I'll pull up a picture of Fuddruckers. That is a pretty distinct kind of, you'll see it's a very colorful thing. As I pull up pictures of it and stuff like that, you can see it's very colorful and has a lot of flair to it and all that kind of stuff. Let's see, tell him to add the group to Skype. To add the group to Skype. Yeah, is there a big lag? That sucks, Brian. Let's see. Let's see. The group to Skype. I typed in what Carl said there. Ronald's on. Okay, great. So anyway, so there I am at Fuddruckers. I'm looking around. I'm like, man, this place is weird. And what Jim says is, listen, it's really all about us being able to sell $5 hamburgers. And it started making sense to me. It's a little bit of misdirection because what most people think about when they think about a hamburger is like McDonald's, like a 99-cent hamburger or a junior bacon cheeseburger over at Wendy's or whatever. And they're not thinking about like a nice, juicy, savory. I mean, they're thinking a hamburger is a hamburger. And at Fuddruckers, they're trying to kind of create a new space for people. And this is, I want you to think about this, a couple things when it comes to your website, because I really got successful at Fuddruckers. Man, I mean, I was making a lot of money there. I was trying to think back the other night as to the real exact numbers I make. I think that there were some nights where I may have walked out with like $300 or $400 in tips, which is nuts. I mean, it was nuts. Everybody would hand me a $5 bill. It was just like you might as well just give me a $5 bill when you walk in the front door. And the amazing thing is, though, there are no waiters at Fuddruckers. Nobody else gets tips, right? Like I was the only one getting tips. And the way I got tips was I kind of created like more value there. I kind of created this fun environment surrounding things. And then I made it very ambiguous as to whether people should give me tips. But how does it start? How do I start getting tips? Like how does it begin? Like somebody tell me like how I begin getting tips at Fuddruckers. Because this is the same thing for like how do you start making money with a website? Because the weirdest thing is once a website starts making money, then very oftentimes you can really build out from there, right? Like so how do you start making you do what no one else is doing, Carl says. That's true. I did have to do something that nobody else was doing because nobody else there was getting tips, right? Like nobody else there at all. So what I needed to have was kind of a culture of me getting tips. Like that was basically what needed to happen in order for me to get tips at Fuddruckers, was to have a culture of me getting tips. But how do we do that? Like, how do I get a culture of me getting tips? Well, it really just starts with me getting one tip. Okay, so it just starts with one customer giving me one tip, and that's what I went for. I went for getting one tip. I think I may have talked about this in the OMGCC guide, how I would try to shovel walks for people during, when it would snow. And the biggest thing was just to get one person to let me shovel their walk for $1, because then I could just point to that walk and be like, I did his walk. Exactly. Josh says, leave it on the table for the next group to see. Man, I would leave it out there. I would want to hang a big neon sign above it, be like, look at this tip that I just got. That's exactly right, Josh. So, it really begins with this idea. One of the worst things I think that ever happened to internet marketing was this idea of, and now I'm not trying to blame anybody here. I don't really care about that. It doesn't really help. But this idea of mass. I know this is the name of a product. Weirdly enough, I'm not even necessarily trying to single out this product or the product creator. I don't really care. But this idea of mass control, it's really not true. It's really particularly false, and it's a particularly bad idea because it really doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. There is no mass control on the internet or anywhere else in the world. In fact, there's no control, by the way. So to begin with, there's no control and there's no mass. That neither of those things happen. What does happen is that, there is what I would call more of a snowballing participation. Hopefully, I'm sure I spelled that completely wrong. Participation. Okay, what you get instead is much more of a snowballing participation. And what I mean by that, and this is kind of a core concept, and now I'm going to switch over to talking specifically about websites and stuff like that. What we want to do, and email marketing as well, what we want to do is so the idea of snowballing is you start with a small seed, right? Like a little teeny tiny snowball that then turns into a big snowman or whatever. Let's pull up a picture of a snowman. Snowman. Okay, so here's a big snowman, right? So how does the snowman happen? I guess these are all pictures of snowmen. So the Gangnam Style snowman. How did the Gangnam Style? Well, all right, he was probably manufactured for some machine or something like that. Okay, well, Anyways, we've all seen a traditional snowman. Here's a traditional looking snowman. So how does this traditional looking snowman start? We all know you start with like a little snowball and you roll it, right? You roll it and shape it and roll it and shape it. And that's how you get a snowman. You roll it, shape it, and that's what happens. That's really how it works. You don't just grab a bunch of snow. You don't mass control the snow and then it becomes a snowman. You have to like roll it and so forth. So what we do is we start with a little bit of kind of small participation, right? So in my case, it would start not even with a tip at Fuddruckers, but maybe with a compliment or something like that. Like somebody saying, "Hey, you're doing a great job," and that would kind of fire me up. And I'd be like, "Okay, that's great." And then I would start to think to myself, "Man, if I'm doing such a great job, why don't you give me a tip?" That's really what I started thinking about. And I would also start putting myself in situations where I was like, well, how can I get a tip? Well, maybe if at Fuddruckers, when you go there, you get a cup for they probably have, in one of these pictures you can see a fountain drink machine somewhere. If I scrolled through enough Fuddruckers pictures inside. Anyways, they have fountain drinks, right? So the idea with a fountain drink is you get a cup and they and then traditionally people fill up their own cups. But what I would do is I would see somebody who had just ordered. I would go over to them. I would seat them, right? Instead of having them have to find their own place, because what's one of the first things that happens? Somebody walks in. So here's how it works. I'll explain this for you a little bit. Let's move in on this Best of Vegas. So this is a Fuddruckers in Las Vegas. Hopefully I can. Oh, this is the one in the Orleans restaurant. I've actually been here. It's pretty nice, actually. So anyways, what you have is right here. And again, I just don't know how well you can see this. I'll try to zoom in on it. So you have an ordering counter right here. You're standing here. You order right here. You see like above you is like a big placard and it just says, "Hey, here's all the prices. Here's what you're ordering." And people order and then before their hamburger isn't done immediately. So they go and sit down and they get their drinks. Well, what I would do, I knew a couple things would happen. One is people would walk in the front door and they would not know that. They would not know how to order or what to do. And I say this because this really matters when it comes to websites, because people are coming to websites and they do not know what to do. And when people feel confusion on websites, they leave. Jason Calori was talking to me about this a couple weeks ago. He's a big, he loves using eye tracking software and you're watching what people do when they get to websites. And one of the things he says that'll happen is if people get to a website and they don't know what to do there, let's just go to Google. I'm just going to type in affiliate.com. So if people get to a website like this, affiliate.com, bonus.net, if they don't really feel like they know what to do, what they start doing is they just start moving around on the website. Like their mouse will just start moving around. They'll start going nuts. And now on this website, I believe that doesn't happen. This website, I believe, accomplishes all the things that I want a website to do when people get to it. And I've talked about this in the previous session, but it bears repeating again and again. Does anybody remember what the three things are from last week? Anybody who was here two weeks ago? You can just type it into the Skype chat. My kind of three focus things I want. I actually mentioned this on the NHB Facebook group a couple days ago. Got Ronell typing. I don't know what Ronell's going to say. I don't even know if Ronell was there. Anybody? Does anybody remember? Everyone's like, no. You and your beautiful woman. That's not it at all, Ronell. It's a good guess. That is a good guess, Ronell. I actually don't necessarily find that having a woman there helps. It depends kind of contextually, but that is a good guess. It really is a good guess. That's only two. Noel says. Does Mike got it? I kind of want to give you guys a second to like really think about it. Okay, great. Mike's got two of them. Person looking, call to action. Mike, do you remember what the middle thing is? See if anybody can remember the third thing. Create need or desire. Weirdly enough, Carl, we try not to do much of creating need or desire. We really hope to focus in on the need or desire that people already have. It seems like everyone's forgotten it or too lazy to type. Noel's saying design. It has to do with your design, Noel. It does have to do with your design. Let me give Mike one more chance since Mike came up with the first two, or the first and the third. And this is not to quiz you, but this is really to engage. I really want everybody engaged in this. Help with confusion. It does help with confusion. Noel's saying photos. That's a good guess. Okay. The answer is you want the website to look like they are somewhere, to create a feeling that they are kind of in the right place. This website does that well enough. Let me see what. Yeah. This is a good one to write down. Actually, Fuddruckers does an amazing job of this. They really do an amazing job of this, because you get to a Fuddruckers and you feel like you are somewhere, right? Like if we look at this place here, let's see. You look at this place here, you feel like you are somewhere. Like you're at Fuddruckers something, right? Like there's something going on. You're in a special place. It feels like you're like stepping into a party or something like that. You just look at the outside of this building right here, right? I mean, you really look like you are somewhere. It's like, you know, adult Chuck E. Cheese's or something like that, like adult hamburger Chuck E. Cheese's or something. You know, I mean, it really looks like you are somewhere. Let me see if I can find some other pictures. You know, here's another outside of a Fuddruckers, and another outside of Fuddruckers. And when you're inside of them, they're kind of like a flared out version of like a Chi-Chi's or something like that. You know, one of these American style restaurants. I mean, just a little bit crazier, a little bit more different. You feel like you are somewhere. So we'll go through a couple of examples, just recent examples. I'm not trying to necessarily, like, weirdly enough, I'd rather you guys get these lessons, really get them down than for me to move from lesson to lesson, because it really bears repeating. Colorado Springs Veterinarians. So when I go to Colorado Springs Veterinarians, let me just see what what Brett said here. The Catalyst Tucson skin gives a yes, absolutely. Brett made a great point, and I'm actually pulling up a Catalyst Tuscan skin anyways, and I'm going to pull up exactly what Brett just said, because it was just dead on. So I really think that this site, Colorado Springs Veterinarians, gives you a feeling like you are somewhere. You know, you're in Colorado Springs, and this site gets phone calls. Okay, people, they get to this site and they're like, okay, I get it. I'm gonna call this number. Okay, and it has all the elements we're talking about. You see these people looking at you. They're really looking at you. They're looking at the visitor, and you feel like, okay, I'm in the right place. There's pets. There's people. This has to do with pets and people. This has to do with Colorado Springs. That's the environment of it, is Colorado Springs. And then what's the call to action? Boom. Call 800-320-5269. Boom. It's right there. It's bold here. It's bold here. If you scroll down, it's bold here. It's bold here again. And I specifically didn't highlight anything else. I really wanted people to be able to see that and spot that. Let's pull up what Brett was saying. So Catalyst, Tuscan, Catalyst. Let's just try Catalyst Tuscan and see what comes up. Yeah, here we go. Let's see what. Carl, I think toll free does matter. I really do. I think you're right. I think it makes it seem more professional, and of course, you kind of need that for tracking phone calls, anyways. I don't exactly have super hard data on that, but I think that's right. So let me pull up. So where's the example here? Give me 1 second here. If anybody sees where I'm supposed to click here we are, demo. Launch Tuscan demo. By the way, that's a really good example of a badly done feature of the site. Like, it should not take me that long to get to the demo. But in this case, this is great. Like, this is, I'll play this video for a second, even though I'll have to listen to the audio, which I really don't want. It's a little distracting for me. But you feel like you're in a restaurant. So this is the Catalyst Tuscan theme, and this certainly feels like you're in a restaurant. You're in some place. And I would feel great about making a dinner reservation here for a family dinner, for maybe for a reception, for an intimate one-on-one kind of meeting. So it at least has that like outwardly. Now, what I would change about this is I think that the video should not necessarily autoplay, and it should be like this guy right here should be looking at you. So the guy in the camera should be looking at you. It should be a still frame of the video, and then you got this good look around you, and then it should say something like "call to make a reservation," and the arrow should like point to making a reservation down here, or the phone number should be here, like that. Of course, this is intended, like intentionally set out as a this is intentionally set out as a as an example site, so it's like ipsum lorem text and stuff like that. But anyways, the one thing that this really does accomplish, though, exactly as Brett just said, is this really accomplishes the feeling that you're in a restaurant. And likewise, I think the Colorado Springs Vets does that as well. And again, it's very, it's very successful. If we go to Healthy Tips, and I don't know what Healthy Tips is going to look like because I know Jason Calori is working on it. So I'm not exactly sure what it's going to look like. Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is interesting. Jason just put this this video up. Yeah, Jason Calori just put this video up. He just edited this. This is neat to watch. I actually really like this now that I'm here and just kind of watching it. It looks really great to me. I think I should be more in gym clothes or something like that in these in this video. That's Kristen, who I told you guys about before, and anyway, so this is kind of neat. Ronell's probably got some great advice for me here. You guys, by the way, you guys should see Ronell is freaking ripped. I've just hardly ever seen anything like it. It's just really, really nuts. I mean, just not, for somebody who's just not a pro. So anyways, so this is, again, a great example. And I feel like this site really engages you. Like, even when the video is on, it's still engaging you. You still feel like it's very personal, like somebody's here, and like there's something going on. And you feel like, again, the site really is following all the things that we're talking about. You feel like you're in a gym, right? Like you step in, you feel like you're in a gym. Well, sorry. So first things first, the very first thing you see is me looking at you. Now currently, Jason, I guess he's probably split testing with having this either autoplay or not autoplay. And we're always split testing on the site. But the first thing you should see is somebody engaging you. So if I go back to the beginning of this video, then that's what you'll see. Let me see if I can get, yeah, I'll just, they're kind of pause it. So if we imagine this is here, you see me looking at you. Now, I do have some concerns about the background here. I'm standing in front of some cars here and so forth. I should probably just reshoot this video and so forth, and that's fine. I should also be wearing gym clothes because, again, that would more match the context of it. But at least I'm here looking at you. Then you've got the gym context surrounding you. You have the before and after picture, so you really understand what's going on. And then you have a clear-cut call to action. Boom, register below, and that's a big deal. And I've got people writing in. Let's see. Yes, this is Tuscan. Yep, this is Tuscan. Yeah, Ronell, I would love you to make an intro video. I think that'd be sick. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. You should put a picture of you in the group chats, Carl. Very inspiring to me, actually. I'm gonna go. I'll proclaim this right now. I'm planning on going on the Ronell Ripper. I've seen how Ronell looks. Oh yeah, here we go. Let me pull this up for you guys. I'm not making this up. It's crazy. I'm pulling up. Look at this. Is Ronell for real? This is not a cartoon or nothing like that. That's really what Ronell looks like. Isn't that crazy? He's just freaking ripped. That's just nuts. How much can you? Ronell was telling me the other day how much he can deadlift. I think it's like 400 pounds. Just some crazy amount. So, anyways, so that's okay. So that's about a bit about the site. It's got the three things that we want. The three main things. Step one, engagement. Right? People are coming to the internet. They're looking for contact and content. Give them that contact right away and signal to them that their context that they're looking for is there. Okay, so let me write this down. This is from Gary Halbert. Content and contact. Okay, those are the two big things. We want content and contact. This is something Gary Halbert absolutely had this nailed. People come to the internet for content and contact. And within a moment of people getting to your site, listen, guys, I don't worry nearly as much about these other gurus about load time and just a lot of stuff that I hear people talking about. I don't worry about that stuff nearly as much. Split testing, headlines, and this and that. I mean, it's okay. Don't get me wrong. It's all good. But what I want to make sure, I want to begin with content and contact. And I want to signal to people right away from Jump Street. They hit my site. I want to signal to them in loud, proud letters, just like I'm at Fuddruckers. We've got your content here, right? So at Fuddruckers, it's like we've got your tasty, juicy hamburgers, and we've got your contact, right? Like we've got this environment, this fun setting for you, right? Like when you look at these pictures, the pictures that Google's ranking, like, you know, if you're looking for a juicy hamburger, right, and with the wonderful condiments right here, and the, you know, fresh, juicy, and with the, you know, whatever, the wedge fries or onion rings or whatever. So that's the content, right? And then you feel like the contact is going to be there. You feel like people here are going to be friendly. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. Okay, content, contact. When we go to healthy tips, I believe that we're really starting to get there, where people come to the site and you feel like, okay, the content of this site is definitely about getting ripped. Maybe not as ripped as Ronell is, but getting ripped, right? Like, you know, getting in shape, working out. Before and after pictures, just boom, immediate impression. The content is there. And then also, I believe immediate impression is that the contact is there. That person who's looking right at you. And it doesn't have to be in that order. I mean, I really want to have this. I believe that you see this, you know, affiliate.com bonus. What is this site about? This is not the greatest site in the history of the world, but clearly there's contact. I'm looking at the camera. You see the money is everywhere. And then you see the call to action. Content, contact, call to action. Okay, that's the way I want you to think about my 3 steps. Sorry about that. Let me just pull this Skype screen back up. That's a different way, and this is a new way of me putting it. I've never put it this way, but I think it's very, very valuable. So content, contact, call to action. So these will be our 3 C's. So someday when we're all sitting around, you know, having a couple of beers or a glass of wine or whatever, I'll tell you what Gary Halbert said the 3 C's were. It was not G rated or PG rated. I think David Allen would get a little upset if I mentioned it. But anyways, the 3 C's when it comes to web page conversion: content, contact, call to action. Okay, and I would love everyone to. I want to know that everyone's writing that down. So I would like everyone, like every last person, to type it in either in the Skype chat or in the or in the Skype. So I'm typing in myself: content, contact, call to action. And let me stop as everyone's typing this in. Brett. There has been a discussion. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but there have been discussions, Brett. I will tell you that. Okay, so let's get that down. I want to wait for everyone to type it in because this is serious to me. I really believe that this will really help you. Content, contact, call to action. Let me ask you this. If we did, I want to wait for everyone to type in content, contact, call to action. Very good. I want everyone to type it in. It really matters to me. Yep. Tim did it. Brett did it. Patrick, Carl, Susan, Al, Brian. I'll check the, also check the. This is fun for me, by the way. I like doing this. Okay, Alan's typing some stuff in here. Great. Yep, we're getting it in. We're getting it in. Mark. Okay, I'm just gonna wait a couple seconds for Noel to finish up typing in content, contact, call to action. Hopefully, I've got everybody here. What about doing? Oops, sorry, lost Noel there. Noel, did you get your content, contact, call to action in already? You said you wrote it down, but I haven't seen it. No, let me just see it. I just want to see it. I want to see everybody write content, contact, call to action, please. Oh, you did it. Okay, great. Noel did it. Okay. Okay. Would everybody like a live OMG event? Just give me a 1 if you would like a live OMG event. Give me a 2 if you think that would stink. Seems to be very unpopular. Okay. All right. Well, I will let cat out of the bag. Wow, no. No is definitely down. Ronell gives us a thumbs up. All right, we are in very, very early stages. Very, very early. Very, very Someplace hot. Carl gives us 2 thumbs up. Carl's trying to one up you, Ronell. We are on the very, very beginning, exploratory, opening, considering, thinking about, possibly thinking about stages of thinking about an OMG live event. So I will tell you that. Carl's dancing. You took the words from my keyboard, Noel. That's great. That's great. You guys are awesome. Okay, and of course we would put it somewhere hot. So I promise you that. So we are definitely thinking about it. But you know how we guys, you know how we do stuff at OMG, and guys and gals, how we do stuff at OMG. We never rush anything. So something like that would be a bit around the corner. Now let me ask you this: does everyone? We've all typed in content, contact, call to action. Did everybody get that? Because at this point, I'm going to bridge out, and we're going to start focusing on. We mostly reinforced the lesson from last week. I was going to talk about sparking things and email marketing, but things went like a little bit long. But I really do. It's more important to me that you kind of get this main core lesson: content, contact, call to action, and let me know if it makes sense to you. If you have questions about it, that's a good way for us to bridge over to questions and feedback and so forth. I really want to know if that made sense to you, if it gave you an aha moment, or if you have more questions about it, how it works, why it works, why is it so important, and that kind of thing. So I'll just wait for a little bit of feedback to come in. Well, Carl dreams of exactly where we're going to have the event, whether it's going to have the crashing waves of the shore right up against the beach. It's great, Carl. I think that's great. Noel says about a question about authority site. What about if you're doing an authority site for local businesses? What kind of contact and call to action would you do? For example, let's say you had a site on various types of lawyers in a particular city. Well, it's really going to be the same kind of thing. I mean, this isn't Noel, this is an authority site for a bunch of different keywords. I mean, like a lot of keywords we're going after with this site. So, the best thing to do is to have the same basic elements that you're seeing here. I'm looking at you. Someone's looking at you, at the viewer. You feel like that legal feel around the site. I do have I have a lawyer site I can show you guys. Personal injury attorney. Okay, so this site right here, this is my site. I haven't showed this off to anybody yet. This is silly. I'm having a little bit of a problem with this site in personal injury attorney. All right, so when I go to this site, this is a lawyer site. The lawyer's in a video. He's looking at you, and you've got this. You've got this, in this case, the sliders. These are very slow moving sliders on purpose for Charlottesville. And again, this guy David, he's looking at you. Call Kendall first. The phone number's right there. So it's got those 3 seats. Like this site is clearly like kind of pretty austere. It's obviously about personal injury. David's looking at you from the screen, and then the phone number's right there. So this would be an example of at least one page for a multi-page site that you can write down. And again, we just haven't revealed this site at all to anybody. And the client loves this, and the phones ring. Just so you know. So client loves it, phones ring. So that's an example for you there, Noel. Okay. Brett's got a really, really good question there. So let's start with what Brett's saying. Okay, and again, for the rest of the event, we'll just be in Q&A, and then we'll talk about content, contact, and call to action throughout. So, Brett, what are your thoughts on long copy versus short and to the point on your homepage? Well, it depends. Of course, it depends. So, what's the context of them coming to your site? For instance, this is a wildly successful homepage, right? This is Area 51 Lifestyle. Interestingly enough, I did almost exactly the same thing on Area 51 marketing for years. It was just me saying almost exactly the same thing that Mystery is saying here. No copy whatsoever, except for a little bit on the buttons, I guess, right? And just the video, and just wildly successful. But people were usually coming in with some context coming into the situation. So either they watched a video, or they were coming in from an affiliate giving them a promotion. And then this page kind of became the hub point where I was going to get people like on the list, if that makes sense. Oh, it's Noel. I'm sorry. I keep saying Noel, don't I? Noel. I'm sorry. Noel. All right. All right. I have been put in my place, Noel. I hear you. You're absolutely right. I should say your name right. I have a friend, the guy who does Unique Article Wizard. His name is Dr. Noel, and he spells it the same way. I guess that's why I picked that. Okay. What would you do with this type of site, Josh? Okay. So Brett, so the example, I'm forgiven. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you, Noel. So Brett, now sometimes long copy can really work, on an initial page. If we go to, let's go to omgmachines.com right now, then the copy on omgmachines.com is much longer. So same formula. Here I am talking to you, and then there's significantly more copy because we've got these. Well, I mean, these like substitute for longer copy, right? Because you have the testimonials, right, as to why you should sign up. So that's longer copy, and again, this often works like crazy. Okay, so, and our reasoning behind that is that that we figure people coming to OMG Machines are coming a little bit more off of curiosity, a little bit less. It's a little bit more of a new business, and people don't know it as well. Whereas Area 51 Lifestyles, typically they're going to be watching a video on YouTube, or they're going to be coming in off of an affiliate site or an affiliate blast where they've been really oriented to what's going on. In a lot of cases, like, I know I'm famous and all in the internet marketing world, but like, what does that mean? I mean, even, the most popular of gurus only get a few thousand searches for their name. So, whereas in the pickup world, somebody who's coming to this website has read the game. They know exactly who Mystery is. So we don't need as much information. I tend to like, if I'm trying to guess, Brett, then I typically guess to go with a bit of a hybrid letter like this. Okay. So this is a hybrid letter. It's a bit of both, right? It's a bit of copy, a bit of video, and then we're going for, of course, the clear call to action here is to get OMG early notification status. Brett, did that answer your question at all? Please ask me more if it didn't, because I really want to know. I'm just going to keep reading down the page. And again, Brett's question was, what are your thoughts on long copy versus short to the point on the homepage? So it's a matter of context, like what happened first is the question. Brett says, sweet, I got it. Okay, great. Josh. Josh is new, by the way. Welcome to NHB, Josh. Josh Scott, what would you do with this type of site? Military, memories, and more. Okay. So give me some context, Josh, on this site. Is this your site? Is this a friend's site? What are you trying to do with this site? I guess, is this an e-commerce site is what I'm thinking. We've got this video, but it's all the way at the bottom of the page. What's going on in this site? Give us some context for it. It's an e-commerce site that my family is starting. I'm looking to see if I can help it out. I'm not very familiar with e-commerce sites. We're actually starting to work on e-commerce, just so you know. If you keep your eye on Healthy Tips, then we will be developing. And is that something that folks would like to hear more about, like, you individually, about how we're developing an e-commerce site, and kind of the inside baseball of that? Is that, I'm just curious if you're interested about that. I actually asked this during the Red Carpet Webby the other night, and always curious for your feedback. And what I'm thinking about in e-commerce is different than an affiliate site, in the sense that with e-commerce, you're actually packing and shipping stuff. So let's say yes, for sure. Yes, econ over the shoulder videos. You guys love our over the shoulder videos. That's great. I love it too. Okay, so following up with what Josh is asking about. Let's see here. Carl said here for information on all kinds of sites for money getting is useful. Great, great. I agree. I really agree, Carl. So now where did I have? Where did I have that site pulled up? Here it is. Okay, military memories and more. So let's get a background. So your family is starting this site, Josh. What's the background behind that? You know, obviously I assume some people e-commerce with dropship, Big Al. Yeah, you know what we're probably going to do? It's a good question. Number one, I am not afraid of packing things and shipping them. I don't know how many people were on the Red Carpet Webby the other night. I talked a little bit about e-commerce. I actually, my first background, yeah, my earliest background, theendgames.com, that was my first big website, and it was an e-commerce website. And that is how I got my started, was with e-commerce. With e-commerce and then list building are the two big things I got started with, because I had a game store, and I built a very successful business. You know, well in six figures. I don't know if it ever reached seven figures or not. I wasn't like that attuned to accounting back then and how things worked and so forth. But man, it did a lot of business. I imagine it did. I mean, I imagine it did well over $1 million. But I just can't be sure. Al says I used to do mail order cassette tapes. The volume got to me after a while. Yeah, well, so that's the thing is, I'm not averse to starting and packing and shipping things myself. I think in today's day and age, what we're planning on doing is ordering product from a manufacturer and then shipping the product direct to a focused distribution outlet, if that makes sense. And so it's like, you know, because there's two things. There's two things with making affiliate offers. One is the margins are much lower and you're not capturing the customer necessarily. Three things, I guess. So number one, margins are a lot lower. Two, you're not necessarily capturing the customer, and that's a pain. And three, and to me, this is almost the biggest one, is that somebody can just mess with you. You know, I mean, we just got, you know, we started getting complaints on one of our websites from Team Beachbody the other day, and it really rubbed us the wrong way. Like, I don't know who they think that we are and who they think that they're messing with. I really like let me ask you this, guys. Like who's the number one person that, you know, two or three people that you'd really want to mess with and aggravate if you're Team Beachbody and you get millions of searches to your internet sites per month? Do you really want to aggravate and upset and make me and Greg and David Mills angry with you? Give me a 1 if you think that that's a smart strategic move by Team Beachbody. You know, just aggravating and annoying me and Greg and David Mills. You know, especially when we're already number one for just tons and tons of their terms, and we can just very easily type in Team Beachbody stuff is horrible. It causes injuries. Let's find all of the negative reports. Oh, Eric, just they sent us some complaints about one of our sites, and they're just ridiculous. And it's just absurd. I don't know, like, so, but it's a good example. Yeah, Ronald gave him the thumbs down. No, I mean, and really, yeah, Tim says it sounds like somebody pissing in the wind. Well, and by the way, what is it making us do is we're bitching away. You can see on Healthy Tips, we're moving away from Beachbody stuff, because guess what? You know, you want to play with some fire, you're going to get burned. And it's not about vindictiveness. It's just about like, okay, like, you know, that's what you want. But this happens with affiliate promotions. Yeah, they did. They did, Noel. Like, again, it's not like the end of the world. Like, they pretend like they're nice people and all, but really they've hired somebody to be a pit bull and to just like nitpick at our websites instead of screen captures. You need to move this here. You need to move that there. And we're like, okay, you know, thanks for the update. Like, we really needed to know. I don't know. It's just all kind of ridiculous. So that it is a bad business decision, Brett. It is, but it's something that we want to sort of realize. Who knows, Brett? We might make it real bad on them, by the way. But anyways, yeah, well, see, because that's the whole thing, is that number one, you're sitting there and you say, well, okay, first of all, I'm not getting as high of a profit margin on this. Number two, I'm not collecting the customer, and number three, now you're gonna mess with me after all that stuff. I mean, it's just, you know, bizarre. So you know, that's something that we really, you know, want to kind of keep in mind, with the, you know, that we can kind of put things in our own hands. by you know, by doing our own offers. And that's one of the things that we'll be talking about more and more with e-commerce. Again, this is something that will be coming in the, in the relatively near future, that you'll get information on. But we're definitely talking, well, since you're in NHB, you never know. I mean, we'll drop out hints here and there when we have something to share with you. But in terms of like the overall OMG, world, then we won't really specifically talking about. I know, Brett. I know. I've don't get me. Don't think that I haven't thought about that. Definitely don't think I haven't thought about that, Brett. Actually, yeah, Ronell and I are meeting up for a bit of a chat tomorrow, which I'm really stoked about. But anyway, I'll tell you, the first thing I want to do is just get ripped like Ronell. That's the way to go. Okay, so let's get back to Josh's question here about military memories. So Josh, so is this a true e-commerce site? And you may have actually answered this question while I was kind of bantering a little bit. Is this a true e-commerce site, or is this a bit more of like affiliate offers? Okay, Josh says, I want to get some general feedback on the site, well put together, or if disorienting. It is definitely disorienting, Scott or Josh. Should I move the video up to engage people better? I plan a new video that shows person looking at the screen. Absolutely, very smart. I know, Carl. I was thinking the same thing. That's great. Carl says Ronell looks like an advertisement for Dragon Ball Z. Obviously, you meant that complimentary. I mean it too. I just think he looks like I tell you, he looks like an advertisement for the Ronell Ripper. That's what he looks like. So Josh, let's look. Yeah, no, obviously it was. Yeah, definitely everybody knew it was a compliment. Josh, let me ask you this site when we. Oh, that's good. That's cool, Ronell. Josh, let me ask you if as you look at this site, let's basically we make custom military shadow boxes and custom framing. Okay, very good. Because I did not know that to begin with. Okay, so I'll tell you that one thing. And maybe you need to have a sentence like right at the top that says, we make custom military shadow boxes and custom framing. But let's go back to our 3 C's, Josh. I'd almost like you to talk about this. Actually, Josh, are you on the webinar? I haven't brought anybody live yet to talk to them. Do you have a mic? Because maybe we can just kind of talk back and forth just a little bit. And let me see if I can do that. And Josh may not have a mic, so let's find out. Yeah, you have a mic. Okay, I'm going to bring Josh live, and we'll see how this goes. Okay, he's going to get his mic. Would that be nice for everybody just to kind of hear me talk somebody through their site a little bit? And maybe I can start doing that a little bit more in the future. I didn't do it last 2 weeks ago, the first time we did a session, because it was just like things just felt like a little crazy. I was just kind of getting started with this stuff. I'll tell you what, definitely gives me like of course I love Greg and he just amazes me. But doing these sessions, it's awesome, but it's so intense. It definitely gives me like an all new appreciation for what Greg does for everybody. Alrighty. Looks like Josh is ready. So let's unmute Josh. Hey Josh. Josh, can you hear me? I think Josh is having microphone difficulties. And if we don't get this straight, we'll just do it by text.
Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, I got you now. Sorry about that.
Great. Welcome to NHB. All right, great to hear from you. So let's start with the site. You were here for the early discussion. I know you weren't here 2 weeks ago when I first introduced the idea of content and contact. What and of the those 3 things that we want to see. Number 1, having a person engaging you, like looking right at you. Number 2, knowing that you're in the right place, and number 3, having a clear call to action. But you're here for this presentation today. We talked about content, contact, call to action. So, and I have more to ask you and more to talk about with the site. But what's the first impression that you have? Because I think that kind of gets gets off of your shoulders, because you probably already have ideas about things that you would like to change, where it can be almost like kind of be confusing if I start saying the same thing that you were already going to say. Like, what were your initial impressions on things that you would do to change this site?
Well, I guess to begin with, like you said, to have that video up front and having people front and center, kind of facing out right at you, and that's probably the biggest thing I've got. I'm seeing that on a lot of your websites, so obviously that's pretty effective. So I've been thinking about just doing a new video, having an actual person in there, because the video that's down there now is just the actual machine doing some work, and it was really just a test to just kind of mess around. And I'm obviously new at this, and my brother and I are just kind of doing this together. And
okay.
So
yeah, well, listen, dude. Bad news. If you didn't come out of the womb already knowing internet marketing, there's no space for you. Nobody could ever learn. No, I'm giving you a hard time. That's wonderful. And I actually really, by the way, I really like that you have that video down there. Now that I know what it is, I think that actually can be a really cool feature of this site. As we look at omgmachines.com, it's not just this video that we rely on to give people. By the way, we're really loving these sidebar things. This is pure David Mills. Guys, David Mills is such a genius when it comes to conversion. He's just really incredible. So much. I know it looks like it's all me, but it's not. It's really a collaboration between me and David, and sometimes it's just like him doing so much of the heavy lifting. But this sidebar here, I don't see a lot of people doing it, especially in our space, and we think it's incredibly effective. It's respectful. Okay, it's respectful. That's, if I were to add kind of a final thing, if 3 C's was going to become 4 C's, I would almost want it to say content, contact, call to action, and conversational. I want to feel like, I know that there's the idea in the online marketing world that you just need to push people around and, push them into a corner and yell at them until they do what you want them to do. And we really disagree with that. We really turned our back on that. And it's not just a credo. I mean, we're really, really successful. Okay. Like, we really crush it. Me, Greg, and David, each individually, have made individually millions of dollars each. Right. So we all know what we're doing, and we're not numbskulls. And yet we insist on having conversation be a part of what we're doing. And one of the things that I feel like I come to a website like this, I mean, man, now let me ask you this. Is your family, are you a military background? You must be, right, to have a site like this?
Yeah, we have a pretty extended history with military all throughout.
Of course you do. Of course you do, absolutely. Now, let me give you 2 scenarios here.
Sure.
So let's say one person came to the site and they got the feeling that you're from a military family and from that tradition, okay? Somehow.
Right.
Okay? And now let's give that a split test in our minds, where they come to the site and they think, this is some punk kid who's never been in the military, who would, the kind of person who would like vote for military cuts, and who during the Vietnam War would have been protesting, and they're just doing this to freeload off of carrying military families.
Sure.
Now, like you coming from the military background, that would like stick a dagger in the heart of somebody coming to this, right? Like, that would really anger them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And now I'm not saying you're doing that. Don't get me wrong, but did you, when I said that, Josh, did you feel it?
Yeah, actually I did, and I understand that it would definitely help out having it more personal, showing that there's actual real people that were actually involved around the military.
Around the military. See, that for a site like this, I think that almost the only thing that matters is this is for military families by a military family.
Right. Okay. And I guess the only other thing is that I guess it isn't strictly military, because as you can see, we threw up different pictures to kind of show that it wasn't just military. But
yeah, but again, do you really want it to be anything other than military? See, I disagree with that as well. I mean,
right.
and if you do that, I would more say, we can handle, all of your needs. Of course, you're coming to this site, you're probably from a military family. You may be curious, can we, of course, every family, including military families, have wonderful events, sports events and vacations and so on. And of course we can do that as well, right?
Sure.
But our focus is on, the young heroes who are protecting our land. Like, is that kind of making sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This is obviously new to me, and yeah, so that's absolutely beneficial to me.
And Brett's saying something really cool here. Okay, Brett says spot on, Mike. Okay, everything else, like Brett has given me a compliment, so let's just focus on that. No, I'm joking. That's great, Brett. Thank you. Spot on, Mike. A history of Josh's family military background. Very nice. I hadn't thought of that, Brett. Yeah, talking about the actual. You said you have a history. Talking about that history somewhere in the mix is really gonna matter. Now, also, does a buyer of these products really care about the T2 Scribe tool? You know what? Brett, let me talk to you about that. I think that that's a valid question. I do think that the T2 Scribe tool can be valuable, but it does need to be in context. Okay, it does need to be in context. Carl's got a comment too, and I'll talk about that. So let me explain what I mean about the context of of the T2 tool here, which is I see what Brett's talking about. If it's in the context of we care so, we're a military family, we care so much about your military family that we got the best equipment, and we want to show you how it works, right? But it has to be contextualized. So Brett, you're absolutely right. If it's not contextualized to that, because otherwise it can start taking us off in that other direction. And of course I was kind of pointing to kind of a very extreme idea, Brett, of like, this, like, oh, they're freeloading, they don't care at all, they're anti-military people who are having this site, and they're just, these, because really having this feeling of caring matters so much. When I say conversational, I could almost say caring instead, right? Like, so if I said that there's 4 C's, I'm not going to just keep adding to this, because there really is a distinct number of things. If I were to say content, contact, call to action, I could also just say caring, like having everything have the context that you care really matters, right? And of course, the shortcut for doing that is caring, right? Um, if you had a picture of your grandfather who is, like you have this right here, and by the way, it really sticks out to me because it's one of the few places on the website where we see. I'm going to pull this up. This picture of this individual here, right? Well, see that actually my eyes were really drawn to it. And was I the only one, by the way, when you look at this website, was I the only one whose eyes were really drawn down here? Let me know. I'm curious because maybe I was, but my eyes were really drawn to that. But I think that having um um like having, like, maybe your picture of your grandfather like in a service uniform, maybe a black and white, or somebody older. I mean, that's something that I think that really, so first and foremost, video picture, face forward, facing the people. I think it should be you, Josh. I think you would do great with this, right? Talk
Okay.
about. By the way, like, notice that a lot of people are saying the same thing. Almost everybody here, their eyes really wound up focusing on this newest product down here, the funeral memorial picture frame. And I think that that's a lesson
Gotcha.
in and of itself. Like, you're getting kind of like a live eye tracking study right here. Does that make sense?
Right. Absolutely.
And I'm not trying
Yeah.
to overwhelm you here, but I think that this stuff is really valuable, because I think this site could be great, right? I think this site could kill it, and also like help families, and have it be just really, really cool. So I would say that there are some good things going on. I like the red, white, and blue. I like that. Those colors. I love the flag. I love me some of that. That's great. Is this Socrates?
Actually, no. This is ran through Big Commerce. It's a Big Commerce e-commerce
Uh-huh.
website, and so yeah, it's not WordPress or anything like that. So that's another thing. I'm trying to still learn a lot of this
Okay.
aspect of it,
Okay.
as well as the WordPress stuff. So.
Yeah, that's good. And don't be hard on yourself. I mean, it's great. Like, here you are, and we're talking about this. I think that stuff really matters. I don't. I'll tell you, I do not like this picture of the wave crashing. It's really out of like this picture with the medals and the two individuals right here. I like that. I would definitely center it around American memorabilia. I'm a little bit nervous with this picture just because it's got the British flag, and that might kind of rub people the wrong way. I love this one. Love this one here with the uniform in the upper right hand corner. Love that. Okay. With the racing and stuff like that, that's more of a secondary thing. Again, those are things like your family vacation and racing stuff. That's more stuff that you kind of contextualize after the fact. But I like having, and I agree that having the T2 Scribe tool like really, really focus on too early on doesn't make a lot of sense, right? We want to make the
Right.
emotional connection here. It's really important.
Gotcha.
Uh, Tim says the new pen tool makes me say what? Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, yeah, exactly. Brett says there's a disconnect with the military products from the rest. So
Right.
I definitely agree with that. Al says that we've got near the payment buttons, you got the copyright. Um, so yeah, so that could be. Also, it's a little bit hard to know like how to order here. I mean, usually with e-commerce sites, it's pretty easy to know. But I like to have products out front. If you're going to do an e-commerce site, I think having products out front, like this is our best seller. Um, I think that taking that tack, like this is our best seller, is really great. Um, so now, Josh, does that give you kind of a beginning and jump off point to try to?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for everybody and all the comments and the feedback. Yeah, this is exactly what I needed, and just to kind of get a basis of where to take it and what would be best. And everybody else obviously looked at it, and that was the best feedback I could get.
Yeah, Brett had a great point here. Do you do the triangular flag display? That's a great question.
Yeah,
That's a great
actually,
question.
we're getting ready. We've hooked up with another company that will be able to sell their products as well, and that's what they do is military flag displays, acrylic display cases.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna
Yeah,
get.
I mean, really immerse yourself. I mean, just think about, think about military families. Go to a base, walk around. I mean it.
Right.
I mean, this matters. Like someone who's in military culture, guess what? Like that's their world, that's their life. They have a loved one overseas in Afghanistan right now. What do you think they think about 27 times a day? What do you think they think about every time the phone rings?
Right.
You know, and you
Yeah.
and you want to have that fire in your heart, like that matters. Like to these families, that's number one. If they wake up in the morning, they're praying to Jesus because they want their children to return safe and sound.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you
Great,
so
Josh.
much.
You're most welcome. Okay, and I look forward to seeing you on another one of these events. We can hopefully track the progress of your site. All right,
Yeah, most definitely.
all right, I'm gonna mute Josh again. Thanks so much, Josh. Appreciate you coming live. That was great of Josh to come live like that. Can I have everybody thank him because it's not weirdly it's really not the easiest thing to come on an event like this live and just share your experiences and also just get yeah, absolutely, thanks, and I'll type in my thanks as well. To be vulnerable and to share, and he's new at this, and that's really great. And it's also of course um a good characteristic, to be able to come in. It's not because it's not criticism, it's just we're trying to help. All right. Noel says I'm a vet as well, so thanks for having meaningful product like that. That's wonderful. Yeah, like keep that in mind, Josh. Like these are real people. Like if you read between the lines of these three or maybe four things I'm talking about, the three or four C's, depending on how you look at it. In between the lines of this is these are real people that we're really serving. Oh, Josh really had fun with that. He said that was awesome. That's great, man. That's great. I'm really, really glad for that. Okay. Great, 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 great. All right, I want to check Facebook really quick, and I'm going to check my inbox at omg@omgmachines.com to see if I have any personal messages, anything that somebody needs kind of answered that's a little bit more delicate, and then they need answered personally. Otherwise, you can queue up your next questions for me to look at your sites or to talk about what you want done. Mark said, "Nope, that's not me. Looking for consideration." What? This comment from shoot, I'm still getting spam from like from one of the last sessions. I got this crazy one from Mark Wood about like no follow links and competitor sites and internal links. I was like, what? Yeah, I know, Noel. Yeah, no, I got that. It's weird how it comes through because I should really try to log in like an hour early, so hopefully like the spam will kind of clear through. Okay. Mike, I had a question about healthy tips before we looked at Josh's site. Okay, Mike. I'm gonna try to find it. Is there a way for you to copy and paste it back into things if you can find it faster than me? Okay, I found it. Mike. Mike, I don't know how do I say your name? Is it Legal or is it? Just tell me how it is. All right. Mike says, I went to the Healthy Tip sites. Looking at it, I think I should enter my email address. What happens when I do that? How does putting my email lead to buying? And is the goal of the link at the bottom of the page to look at other programs? Great question. All right, I'm gonna take a second with this. I want everyone to have the time to actually think about the question that Mike just asked, because you may have some thoughts about this. You may have follow-up questions. I really like when we're in a mode of learning. I really want to be learning. It's very important. So let's see. Let's go to healthytips.com. Just letting everybody get their thoughts together here. Josh has to run. Okay, man. Thanks so much for jumping on, Josh. Take care. Log L. Is that right, Log L? Oh, very good, Carl. Very good advice, Carl. Appreciate that. Yeah, maybe I can just get it to just be from today. Just one day. Yeah, it's great. It's good advice there, Carl. All right. So Mike, is that correct? Log L? Mike Log L? Just let me know. Okay, so let's start answering Mike's question. I wanted to take a few seconds with this. So as everyone's looking at the site, let me hear some of your answers to what. Of course, I know what the answer is, but I want to hear what your answers are to what Mike is saying, because I think that helps flex the mental muscle. I think it really matters, and you'll also probably come up with insights and thoughts I didn't have. So Mike asks, and let me just. Yep, and I'll get to other questions as well. I'll try. We have plenty of time. Yeah, I'm planning, by the way, to go through until about 4 o'clock, until a little bit before 4 o'clock. Let me find Mike's question here. I went to the Healthy Tips site, looking at it. I think I should enter my email address. What happens when I do that? How does to use the links at the bottom of the page to look at other programs? So that's Mike's question. Let's see what your answers are to Mike's questions. I'm just gonna give about a minute or two for people to kind of enter in their stuff. I'm gonna enter. I'm gonna start reading them as they come out. So Tim says, much better chance of selling something to someone when you can contact them more than once with autoresponder campaign. Okay, that's what Tim said. Mark said, people leave the site and they forget about it. If you have their email, you can keep it in front of them. Okay. Brett says, just me, but I'd enter my email address. I wouldn't enter my email address without some incentive. Maybe if I listened to the video and was prompted to enter my email, I would. Great point, Brett. Absolutely. Our opt-in rates are not as high as we'd like on this website by far. We're also a little bit double-minded. I'll explain why. But yeah, great point, Brett. Yep, I agree. It's also just so you know, Jason Calori, Meta Conversion Genius, is just running about a zillion split tests on the site right now. So a lot of what he's trying to do is figure out what is going on the site. This is probably like our 50th variant. Yep. Mike says I have a junk email account for stuff like that. All right, let me wait for to see what Carl and Brett have to say here, and then I'll start talking about things. I was going to ask a question on this point. Do you prefer to give away high value in exchange for email or not? Great question, Brett. Great question. All right, I will answer that in a second as I answer this. Really great question. The answer is not obvious. Just going to wait on and see what Carl has to say about things. And just so everybody knows what he's talking about in terms of the links at the bottom are these various products that are at the bottom. Right now, yeah. Yeah, Greg and I are also going to be working a little bit on the SEO of this site. Right now, it actually has a silo set up. It's a little tricky to see how it works. Let me see. By the way, when everyone goes to healthytips.com, do me a favor. Do you see, when you go to healthytips.com, do you see this workout and supplements at the top? Tell me if you see workouts and supplements at the top right here where I'm indicating. Because I don't know if I'm cached on that or not. So just let me know. You see it, Brett? Okay, great. On your, I mean, on your computer, you see it, of course. Yeah. Okay, great. All right. All right. Yeah, everyone sees it. Okay, great. All right. Well, Carl's typing something. I'm going to start answering this question, unless yeah, I don't want to talk over Carl. I kind of want to give Carl his opportunity to kind of think things through and type in what he has to type. So let's just give it a few more seconds. When you say barely, what do you mean? Oh, trying to go to the site. Okay, great, no problem. Brian, what do you mean by barely? I just catch both words right at the bottom. Right. But the point is that they're here. Like the main thing is because this is how our silo is set up currently. I may change this, but this is the whole silo. So it's a two-part silo: workouts and supplements. When you go to workouts, it takes you to healthytips.com/workouts. Okay, and then from workouts, we've got home, insanity, P90X, C4 Extreme, Brazil butt lift, 10-minute trainer, Beachbody Beast. Right. So those are the workouts. Again, this is becoming like and part of the reason for this is right now we're working more towards expanding the kind of workouts that we have. So for example, workouts here might even have a subcategory where instead of having all these Beachbody workouts, because we're trying to de-emphasize these, we might switch workouts. It might just say Beachbody workouts, custom workouts, who knows, the Ronell Ripper, like whatever, right? But we might change that up. But this is how our silo is built out. And these are for supplements, and supplements could change too because we might break up supplements. Like right now, it just says again these are just Beachbody stuff, and we're moving. We're probably going to start coming out with our own supplements basically, and of course we're going to want to push our supplements more. And then at that point, what we're going to more want to do is break down different kinds of supplements, for different kinds of things. Might talk about various new stuff. um, Didn't realize it was there until you mentioned it. Greg showed the links at the bottom. Okay. Those look like your new weights that Kristen is using in the video. Yes, Noel, but there's nothing going on with me and Kristen, if that's what you're trying to say. There's nothing going on. Okay. I can see the two words when I look for them. Okay, great. Okay, so let's talk through let's talk to let's oh okay. Great, Noel. Anyways, I'll put the word out there. There's nothing going on. Okay, so on this site, currently, what we're trying to do is capture the opt-in. What we are moving to, 60% of the traffic coming to this website is coming from mobile devices, iPhones and Androids. Where we're moving to is doing apps. We've actually filmed a significant amount of material. Greg worked out with an athletic trainer for a while and filmed a whole series of videos. I worked out with Kristen and filmed a whole series of videos, and we're planning on making like a little app kind of thing. Now, we'd like to do something better, like something like kind of more pro grade, the kind of thing that somebody who's a real pro, somebody like Ronell could do, or something like that. And we have an eye towards that in the future. But just in terms of getting started, what we want to do is have a little, probably either a free app or a 99-cent app, just to get people started. Just to do something to get people started, and then we can roll out a line of apps. So that's one thing that we're trying to do currently. The reasoning behind capturing somebody's email address, like if we go back to Area 51 Lifestyle, this site right here has captured over 200,000 double opted in emails. Okay, over 200,000 double opted in emails. There are very few sites in the entire world who have done that. Very, very, very few sites in the entire world that have collected an intentional 200,000 double opted in emails, and it's a 7-figure business. Okay, it's it is a very, 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 very successful business. So this is a great example. This is a triumph, and one of the things that like just even in knowing that, then you know that you really have a powerful template. And so often, like, this is what we're building off of. Now, I built this, like, I built it from scratch. What Mystery is saying is what I asked him to say. You see this little earpiece that he has right here? Then there's somebody over to the left that you can't see out of the picture who's actually reading the script to Mystery, like, while he talks, and so forth. So, this is intentional. I put this together intentionally. Healthy Tips really is the same thing. It's built to be the same thing as Area 51 Lifestyle, but just its own kind of version of that. And what we're trying to do is either capture people's email addresses or capture people's, like, get them to buy an app or get a free app from us in some way that we can contact them again in the future. And so that's the major thrust of things, Mike. Does that make sense? Yeah, I agree, Al, that it's hard to see them. I agree with that. They should probably be image links or something like that. But just for right now, I really wanted them to be clear, just to get the linking the linking silo effect from Google. So that was mainly the thing there. So Mike, let me know if that makes sense about what we're trying to do on the site. Now, what we're going to be doing is moving over to much more e-commerce, and that can be another way for us to capture a customer, is for them to buy a product from us, like a supplement, or we may wind up doing some drop shipping for people who have exercise equipment and so forth. But really, we're going to be moving much more. I was actually talking about this with Ronell till like 4 a.m. last night. How, like, we're really shifting this site over. Before, it's been kind of focused around Beachbody, and now we're really moving away from that, in no small part because of the way they treated us. And by the way, it really goes to show, like, what a gift. Like, talk about looking a gift horse in the mouth. Like me and David Mills and Greg Morrison and Jason Colore show up on your doorstep and we're like, hey, we'll sell you stuff, and you're like, well, how about I snub you instead? And it's real. It's real. I mean, you think that that's not possible, but it just happened. I mean, I could show you the emails. We just got an email from them yesterday. It's bizarre. And we're like, okay, you really want us not to work with you? We will. We will not work with you. We will compete with you, and if that's really what you want. Why would you? Mike. Literally, one of the things to realize is that in business, sometimes people do things that are literally against their best interests. They're just literally fully and completely against their best interests. One of the things that David told them, just straight up, because David's no pushover. David said, I mean, would you guys prefer that we just collect negative stories about Beachbody and publish them all over your Beachbody terms? And the one was just like, that's fine, but you can't do what you're doing right now. It was like, okay, like, we hear you. So it's and realistically speaking, look, there's but look, but that's the other thing. I mean, you look at Ronell, like, you don't need Beachbody to get in shape. See, Ronell says, I had the same issue with Avocare, and they threatened to sue me if I didn't take my site down, although I was making a ton of sales. See, it's sick. It's really sick. This is one of the reasons why we want people to have their own route to be able to do e-commerce, so you can do your own thing and just be like, okay, my name's Paul, and that's between y'all. You want to have that, you want to have that issue, that's fine, but I'm moving on. And but yeah, it's a great point. This is one of the things with affiliate programs. It's really why we want people to have their own option to either come out with their own product lines and sell through e-commerce or something along those lines. So hopefully that, yeah, exactly. Brett says corporate mentality and trying to lock everything down regardless of the net profit. Absolutely agree with you, Brett. Absolutely agree with you. Okay. So Mike, let me know if that begins to kind of answer your question on capturing the lead. Let me just say this, Mike. The purpose. Does somebody tell me what is the kind of the classic purpose of a business? The classic definition or purpose of a business. So just let me know. Noah wants to know what they didn't like. Yeah, it's just nitty gritty stuff. It's like really bizarre. You can't put this kind of product on this kind of site. It was bizarre. Just really strange. Okay, Brett says maximize net profit. Oh, Susan, it wasn't about this site. It was actually about Insanity versus P90X.org. They didn't like all the sales coming in. Mark said to provide a product or service for profit. Okay, that's a good guess. Patrick says repeat sales. That's a good guess. So what is the purpose of a business? Really great to flex our curiosity, flex our mental muscles here. Okay, Mike says make a profit. Brett said build a loyal customer base. Al says purpose is a profit. Carl says the purpose of business is to provide products that customers need and want. These are good answers. I'm curious what Google will tell us. What is the purpose of a business? Okay. So let's see. What's Science 20? This is the #1 site. Let's see if they've got it right. Unsatisfactory answer. Okay, this is a long rambling answer. I don't believe that these people know what they're talking about. Okay, I reject that. Okay, Wiki Answer says the purpose of business is to fill a need, but you can do that without having a business, so that doesn't seem correct. Okay, here we go. This is it right here. This is what I'm looking for. This guy's got it. Ducttapemarketing.com, purpose of a business. Can everybody see this? Ah, come on. Yeah. Oh, nope, he doesn't have it right. Okay, this is what I was looking for. This is the right quote from Peter Drucker. Peter Drucker famously wrote, the practice of management, that the purpose of a business is to create and keep a customer. Because that's what I was looking for. I don't know about this. People who say that the purpose of business is to create and keep purpose, that's just kind of circular, right? Like, first of all, anything that can be done without a business, then that must not be the purpose of a business. So if you say the purpose of a business is to help people, well, Jesus helped people without having a business, so that can't be it, right? Like it just doesn't make sense. We must be looking for more of an answer. Mother Teresa helped people without building a business, right? She was just Mother Teresa. She ran around helping people. Fine, right? Nothing wrong with that. That's great, but it is not a business. Okay, so the purpose of a business is to create and keep a customer. All right. Has anybody ever heard that now that I say it? I think Brett's answer was very close to it, by the way. He said build a loyal customer base. Patrick says get a list, of course. And if you say a purpose is profit, well, what is it that you hear me and David Mills and Greg Morrison saying all the time? We think that the purpose of a business is 50% for profit, 50% to enjoy public testimonials. Al says Peter Drucker is wrong. It's not the purpose. It is the means. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So anyways, what I was going for is generally what we want to do is we want to build a customer list, whatever way you slice it, any way you slice it. And you want to have long-term, high-value customer situation. Does that make sense? You have to go, Carl. Take care, man. Thanks for jumping on. Yeah, we'll probably be on for about another 10 or 20 minutes. So, but appreciate you coming on. Thanks for the good energy, man. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So you can keep things captured. Sure. Okay. Take care, man. All right. So that was a bit about what's going on with Healthy Tips. We're trying to capture customer leads. Right now, we don't have e-commerce products to offer. So our best guess is to collect emails for now, and then to start going for apps and stuff like that are generally to try to collect that customer contact, start building contact with people. Now we had another question earlier, and I want to get back to that. Let's scroll backwards here. Dennis. Mike, I joined April NHB group. Hey, welcome. That's so glad to have you on board, Dennis. However, okay, sorry. And I haven't got to the part of WordPress themes yet. However, I already have Thesis. What skin do you recommend on Thesis for local dentists, HVAC, etc.? Okay, well, I really like Thesis. I like Thesis. Agility is a good one. I like Thesis. Grind is a real good one. So if you've got Thesis, then Agility and Grind that you Agility you get from BYOBwebsite.com, BYOBwebsite.com, and Grind you get from, just type in Thesis theme Grind, and it's from uh, ThemeD. It's from ThemeD. I like that. And then I think everybody inside of NHB is just loving these catalysts and dynamic themes. I believe it was originally Gary Kuish who brought it up. I'm not sure. It may have been somebody else, but Gary uses them a lot. I use them now a fair amount. I got the tip from NHB. It's one of the great things about NHB. Ron and Mike may have something to say about this, but yeah, I generally like those. Mark said Gary convinced me. Yeah, absolutely. And Dennis, also there's really killer stuff inside of your commission conspiracy on themes. So part 2 of commission conspiracy has got me weighing in on themes a lot. You're welcome, Dennis. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at Ronell's site here. Looking to increase conversions. Okay. All right, Ronell, can I bring you live? Is that okay? Do you have a mic? So we can do kind of the same thing we did with Josh? And if not, that's fine. We'll just go by text. Oh, it's funny, Brett. Well, I got to tell you, there's a lot of HVACs all over the place. Mike's broken. Buying one today. Okay, Ronell. So we'll go with we'll go without it. Oh, great, terrific, Ronell. Yeah, definitely get that. That'll be great. I guess worst case scenario, we could always meet on the phone, but it'll definitely be better if you have a microphone. So we can meet on Skype or something. All right, so here we are. So Ronald, give me, having attended the early part of this meeting, what are your early thoughts about improving conversion on this website? And of course, by conversion, we're trying to get the opt-in at this point. Is that correct? Let me know. So what are your early thoughts? And also, anybody else can chime in with their thoughts on what I would say about conversion on this website. And everyone, I'm just gonna take a brief break to stretch my legs and run to the bathroom, and I'll be right back while everyone types in their thoughts on this site for now. All right, everyone, I'm back. Let's have a look and see what everyone typed in. Okay. Generate more leads is the purpose of the site. Okay, Al says better focus on opt-in. Handwriting, looking arrows. That's good. I like that, Al. Mark said opt-in front and center. Good. Patrick, phone number is very small. Can't read it. Yeah, where is the phone number? Oh, it's right up here. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, Tim, I think you need to have something that says emergency repairs 24/7 and social proof. That's a great point, Tim. Brett says request more info, change to enter email address to get a free report, the top 15 things you need to know before hiring an HVAC contractor, or don't get ripped off, or get a $100 discount. and add a big phone number call to action. Great, Brett. This is all great. Mark says, I agree with Patrick. Didn't even notice it. Yep, the phone number. Yep. CTA, Brett says, could link to an opt-in form from Slider. Yeah, I don't like a slider on this site, actually. I think it's going to wind up being distracting on this particular site. So sliders can be pretty dangerous. It's tough because a lot of times clients like sliders. So sometimes you have to make it. Yeah, losing a lot of real estate above the fold. That's true, Brett. Okay, well, let's go back to our 3 or 4 C's, depending on how you look at it. So contact. Do we have somebody who's like communicating with us, who's looking right at us? Sort of, because this guy is sort of looking at us, but then it bridges off, and it's this couple here. I'd really prefer to have a video of somebody who tells people what the deal is. Just if we could replace this slider with a clear cut video of somebody, much like with Holly Tips It, just saying, hey, you know what? If you're having problems with your heating and air conditioning and you need to repair, then you need answers fast. We've helped thousands of families and businesses, in the whatever area we're in here. Are we in New Jersey? Baltimore, in the Baltimore, Maryland area. If you need help, you need fast. Fill in your name and email address and phone number below, and we'll give you a call right away to help you out. Or you can call the phone number that's listed above or below anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, whatever the answer is, right, Ronell? But I'm kind of giving you a script here. So we'll do it again one more time from scratch. Hey, this is Ronell. If you are on this site, chances are that you are having a problem with your heating and air conditioning unit and you want help right now. I totally understand, because we've helped thousands of families and businesses in the Baltimore area with this exact problem. What I want you to do for us to be able to help you right now is to either give us a call. You can pick up the phone and call us at 443-219-3309. Anytime, 24 hours a day. There's a number. It's listed right above and below and right here and right in front of me. Or if you'd like more information, and I really recommend you do this, fill in your name, email address, and phone number, select a product, and also give us your comments. We really want to know. And of course, we'll never contact you if you don't want to hear from us. Okay, I'll see you when we repair your heating air conditioning unit. Bye. Okay, so something like that. That's the general script that I would like to say. Let me know if that sort of made sense to people. Like when you're hearing me say it that way, if that made sense to you. And maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Al, it should sound familiar. It should sound familiar. I don't know how many opt-ins I've collected that way. I've collected so many opt-ins that way. I don't know if it's a million, but it's not. It's definitely hundreds and hundreds of thousands. Okay, it really, really works. Okay, so for contact, we want to see that ideally with a video, face forward, facing the person. And this slider, it's so fast moving and fast paced. I'm nearly sure that it's running people off the site. So content. Does this site look like it's about HVAC repair? Yeah, I think it does. Okay, I think it does. So I knew that is good. Heating, repair, air conditioning, great. I like those elements. It might be that we should swap. The request more information maybe should be in the middle. I can see that. Areas served, I think that's all reasonable. Maybe a map below that could be good. But I think that now, if you're doing it for both businesses and homes, I think you should say that for both for businesses and homes, so people have that question answered. So content and contact, we've talked about that. Call to action, we've had a lot of discussion on that. Just this one little phone number up here does not cut it. If you're really trying to get that phone number called, it should be prominent. Should be all over the place. Great example of that was the Charlottesville personal injury attorney that I showed you guys a little bit earlier. Let me see if I can pull that back up. I don't know where I put that. Yeah. Where did I put it? So this is a great phone number site. I think, by the way, I think I should change it so it says call and then the number should happen right away. Let me back up right here. On the ad itself, it's great that I have that it says right here, call David Kendall first and the phone number's right there. I think that I should transpose, should say call 800-540-6489. It should say it right here. And then it should say David Kendall after that. Okay. Got to get to authority listing on the site at some point. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. So let's click it on this website. This is a much better phone number getting website than the one that you have there, Ronell. Oh shoot, I came in off of Safari. Again, I have the sliders broken on Safari, so it's a bit of a pain there. Safari doesn't get used a whole bunch, so it's not like that big of a deal. Okay, so this is a site really, really clear. I have got it mostly in black and white, or else, boom, here's the number right here. 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 There's 4 distinct places right from Jump Street that you can see that number and feel like you should call that number. Okay, so as we go back to the HVAC site. Yeah, exactly. There just needs to be. It's really important. So content, it looks like an HVAC site. That's good. Don't lose that. Contact, person looking, static picture, ideally a video. Number 3, the call to action needs to be clear and distinct, like we talked about. And number 4, it can be a bit more conversational right now. And again, you can kind of accomplish that in that video that I gave you. Just a little bit more conversation, a little bit more personal. We're number 1 on Angie's List. What does that mean? We'll beat any quote from a local competitor. Describe what that means. We have the highest recommendation status among customers. Show what that means. Right? Don't just say things. Don't just assert something. Follow up with it. Okay, follow up with it. Mobile and click to call. I agree with you, Al. Absolutely good point. Absolutely good point. Okay, guys. We're right around the point when I had planned on wrapping things up. If you have like a last second question or two, you can. Yep, Mike. Absolutely. Company name can be good as well. I agree with that. So if you guys, if you have more questions, now's a great time to answer it. If not, then I want everybody to enjoy their Saturday. I had a good time here. Hope you had a good time. Email next week. All right. So the way Greg and I are working things out is we're swapping Saturdays. So next week you'll have the one man gang himself. This week is me, and then in 2 weeks it'll be me again. And yes, I will cover email marketing. Okay. If you have email marketing questions, ask that. Oh, and everybody, by the way, thank you so much. We had just so many killer comments, and I would like to pimp this out again. omgmachines.com/blog/NHB. We got like 10 new comments in since the last time I was on this event, and that means so much to me and Greg. So I would really, really like it if every single person who's on this event, if you enjoyed the event, if you feel like it was valuable, I would love, love, love for you to post on omgmachines.com/blog/NHB. And if you've already put in one before, update your comment. We prefer Facebook comments over regular ones because that way they can see a face to the name. But we really love these comments. Really, really appreciate them. And you can definitely follow up and add a new comment, even if you've already put one down. Let people know what NHB is like. This is new. Us really having this fine-tuned focus on conversion and these money-getting conversion webinars. But you can also talk about the success and progress you're making. I know that a lot of people are making breakthroughs. I know Brett is a good candidate from congratulations this week. So if you get the chance, please do head over to omgmachines.com/blog/nhb and post your comment. We care, like, every single time we get a new comment, it lights us up. Me and Greg and David Mills talk about it. We really appreciate it. We got new comments this weekend from David, from Ryan, from Carl was last week right after the event. I really, really appreciated that. That was great. Got a new one. I think Tim McGrath. I want to say that Tim's. Oh no, Tim's is a little bit. Has been around for a little while. We've got new comments in from. Let's see. Susanto. Brian, I think, was new this week. Oh no, it was January 16th. My fault. Kim was new just a couple weeks ago, so really appreciate that. And then we had a number of new ones here in the regular comment section. So we really, really appreciate those. If you if you take a little bit of your valuable time at the end of this event and post your comment, ideally in the Facebook section, but even if you don't want to put it there, put it in the regular comment section. I really, really appreciate that. And I want to thank everybody for attending this event. I had so much fun every single time. Really, really enjoyed myself here. Glad that everyone enjoyed it. And let people know what your favorite part of the event was. And I will see you on the inside. I'll see you in 2 weeks. I hope everybody shows up. Everybody have a great weekend. Dennis, thanks for showing up. Al, Mike, Patrick, Susan, Mark, Brett, Mike, Ronell. Thank you, Ronell. Appreciate you showing your site off. We had Josh was on earlier. He had to run. Patrick, Tim, everybody really, really appreciate Noel, Carl, everybody jumping in on this. Really, really appreciate your valuable time. And when you get a chance, head over to omgmachines.com/blog/NHB. Put out the good word. All right, guys, thank you very much. Guys and gals, thank you very much. Appreciate your valuable time. And I will see you next time for NHB Money Getting.